want to invite to your next slumber party? Jason, Freddy, Michael, or just maybe the Driller Killer? Announcing Nighty Nightmares sleep shirts, exclusively available at deaditesondeck.com.
They're all messed up.
Howdy, gang, and welcome to yet another They're All Messed Up. And here in just a little bit, I'm going to be talking about the severed arm and the single girls. I believe both of these are from 1973. The severed arm is directed by Thomas Alderman, and the single girls is directed by the Sebastians, Beverly and Ferd Sebastians. Yeah, the same Sebastians that did Rocktober Blood. And you're going to hear my thoughts on both of these films, as well as talking about the kills in each, okay? I do have a physical copy of The Severed Arm. This is Steve's copy. I had seen this movie years ago, and then I think I watched it again with Steve when he got this, but he's had this for a little while. So I had to refresh myself this evening with this movie, and I watched The Single Girls for the first time around. So I'm going to give you all my thoughts on both of those and the kills in each here in just a little bit. I apologize again that I'm a little bit later. I, of course, got a late start because I got put behind at work again. Some of that might be my fault. Some of it might be other things going on. But in any event, I'm here now for anybody that wants to watch. And hey, if you can't watch it now, you can always watch it on the replay. And there's a dang housefly that's flying around here that's driving me crazy. This unseasonably warm weather in October. Every time we open the back door to let the dogs in or out, these flies come in, and I'm just so, I don't know which are more annoying, the house flies or fruit flies. They both swarm around your face and your head and everything. So, but I'll quit complaining about flies here, and we'll get to the housekeeping stuff that I like to get out of the way first before I get to the matter at hand. So, we've still got some programming coming up this weekend, and Friday as well. Because tomorrow night is the first Friday of the month, it's time for Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully, I'll have some people watching Night of the Demons and Happy Hell Night with me tomorrow night, which are the movies for Evil Dead Chicks Slasher Fest for the month of October, and they are Halloween themed. Saturday, starting also at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, is a Videodrome watch along that you guys and gals picked if you have voted in the poll. I do have a new poll up for October the 25th. It's the day before I'm going to do a movie munchies, unless something happens and I don't end up going to Scarefest, in which case I'll move it up a little bit. Halloween 4 is still in the lead with 53% of the votes. Halloween H2O is second with 42% of the votes. And poor Halloween 5 is trailing in third place with only 5% of the votes. 19 of you have voted. And if you want to get in on that and have a say on what the next movie, the watch along movie is going to be, please get in there and vote now, or I guess forever hold your peace, right? I also want to say again, I do have a Halloween giveaway going on for new subscribers only. I've had a few new subscribers, but nobody's taken me up on it. I can't believe this. Free horror movies? I don't know, guys, gals. I don't know what's up with that. Why people don't want to enter. Maybe they don't want me to know that they've subscribed to my channel. I don't know. But that's a small price to pay to get 5 horror movies, folks. And I'll do my diligent duty here. I'll announce these again. Perhaps maybe all of you guys and gals out there that are horror fans already have all these movies. I don't know. Maybe that's it. But so there will be 5 movies in each one of these packs. So the first one has Night of the Creeps. These are all Blu-rays, all pre-played, but they work beautifully. Night of the Demons, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Criterion version of Picnic at Hanging Rock, and Sorority House Massacre. The next one has a bunch of Halloween movies in it. We've got Halloween 2, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, Demons 2, and I'm going to show this one really quickly, the Toolbox Murders, because I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube there for, showing some potential nudity there. And so the last prize pack has Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker, the 1970s version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Mother's Day, Play Misty for Me, and this does have one disc, but it does have 2 movies on it, When a Stranger Calls and Happy Birthday to Me, with that awful cover art. But the movie is better than that cover art that they used. So, anyway, I thought I would show those again. And how do you enter this giveaway, you might ask? Well, first of all, you got to subscribe. And then you got to go under the video where I announced the giveaway. And I'm going to try to find it. Because I'm going to put the link in the chat for you guys and gals. So you don't have to go looking for it, right? And you need to put the channel handle or screen name that you subscribed under. And you've got to let me be able to see that you subscribe. Because if you don't, that's kind of a moot point. And again, you know, I know a lot of people do contests and giveaways, and people are glad to enter them. So I don't know, maybe I'm not being charismatic enough about these, but I really need to make some room on my movie shelves, folks. So y'all could really help me out by entering this contest. So this is going on from now until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, October the 31st, Halloween. And then come November 1st, if I have any entries, I'm going to put all the names, hopefully in a plastic Halloween bucket, like the kind that the kids would get their candy in. And I'm going to draw 3 different names out, and those people will win the prize packs. Now, if nobody enters, then I'll probably do something like a caption contest, a trivia contest, so I can, you know, get rid of these movies and, you know, make room for more stuff. Because what I'm doing is I'm getting a lot of these on 4K, therefore I don't need them on Blu-ray anymore. But I don't know what that is. No, I don't want to send that. So we got that going on. I've got a lot of stuff that I put up here lately. Most of them are videos. So we have the Pick Your Poison taste test. I did one for Fanta's Chucky's Punch, Michael Myers Pineapple, Megan Grape. If you want to check those out. Also, there's 3 different Highway to Hells that I finally got put up for The Long Walk, The Conjuring Last Rites, and Weapons. And then I finally got off my lazy duff and I put me and Steve's 3 episodes of We Watch Movies. Hopefully now Steve will want to do more now that I finally got these up. So I got all that, plus, you know, the live streams I've been doing. Not had a lot of people come to the live streams, but that's okay. Like I said, they're on YouTube. All you got to do is go to my channel and check them out at your leisure. And that's a great segue into letting you guys and gals know that there are several different ways that you can support me in the channel and hopefully help me get to my next milestone, which is 1,000 subscribers. I'm 11 shy of that goal that I set for myself. Hopefully I don't lose anybody during this. But I enjoy the super chat, or I appreciate, I should say, the super chats and the super stickers and people joining the Patreon and all that stuff. Those things all help, and I really, really appreciate it. However, I know in this day and age, people aren't just made out of money. So I just want to let you know that there are ways that you can support me in the channel and help me get up in the algorithms of YouTube, whatever that is. And it won't cost you a dime. One way is by subscribing. And now is a great time to subscribe because I've got that giveaway going on. So keep that in mind. Also, you can hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content have coming out. And you can hit the like button on anything and everything that you particularly enjoyed. If you enjoyed it all, heck, hit the like button on all that stuff. And here's yet another way you can share with friends and family members my channel that you think would enjoy the content I'm putting out. That costs you nothing, that costs them nothing. And I'm going to put my channel handle because I've changed my channel handle from Evil Dead Chicks 76 to more appropriately Deadites on Deck. So I put that in the chat for you as well. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get to the movies. And the first one I'm going to talk about is The Severed Arm from 1973, directed by Thomas Outerman. We basically have 3 deaths in this movie. I mean, they're pretty gory deaths, but for some reason I was thinking that there were more deaths in this movie. So we've got 2 men that are chopped up with an axe and their arms chopped off, and then 1 man near the end of the film who's thrown off a cliff and his arm gets torn off with a rope. Okay, so pretty gory kills, not too many of them. So let's get to the story. So it tells the story of I think there were 5 guys who go into this cave. They're not miners or anything. They're wanting to get, I don't know, samples of rock, samples of soul or something. And nobody is expecting them back for 2 weeks. And I'm like, why would you go into, of course, it's a horror movie, why is why, but why would you go into a potentially dangerous cave where there could be a cave in? And that's exactly what happens. They start knocking around on the cave with their little hammers, and there's a gigantic cave in. So these guys are trapped with very little water and no food at all. So you see them, gradually deteriorating physically and mentally in some respects. You see that the men have all grown out beards. They got bags under their eyes, and they just look terrible. And on the 7th day, they drank all their water that they had in a canteen. And, in 7 days, you're going to get pretty hungry, folks. So, one of the guys tells a story about these sailors who got stranded and had to start eating each other, kind of like the Donner Party. So, they get the idea to draw straws, and of course, the person that draws the shortest straw, or in this case, they tear up pieces of paper out of a notebook. And the guy that gets Ted, the guy that gets the shortest strip of paper, says, no, just wait a few more hours, because they're going to hold him down and cut his arm off. And apparently, I guess they're planning on eating his arm. And he convinces them to wait a few hours. Well, they wait a few hours. Nobody comes to rescue them. So the guy starts panicking, please don't cut my arm off, or don't do this to me. I got a family and all this stuff. So they punch him in the face, knock him out, and then cut his arm off. Again, why ask why with a horror movie, but it doesn't appear that they cauterize it or anything. I thought maybe they would, but wouldn't the guy bleed out? Is what I was thinking. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help but think that, because if you cut an arm off, there's going to be arteries and all kinds of stuff, right? So again, it's a horror movie, low budget horror movie. Why ask why, right? So, and just as they cut the guy's arm off, they hear someone outside of the cave, and someone has found them, and they've already cut Ted's arm off. So they get rescued, and they're taking Ted out on the stretcher. And what the other guys, they don't want to say, hey, we cut his arm off right before you guys came and rescued us because we thought we were going to have to eat it. So what they said was his arm was damaged in the cave-in, and we had to cut it off because one of the guys was apparently a doctor. And as they're carrying him out on the stretcher past his family, his wife and his 2 kids, his son and his daughter, he tells the guys, I won't ever forget this. And apparently he loses his mind, gets sent to the mental hospital, and then sometime later, the main guy hears that he apparently was released. And the main guy gets a package in the mail of a dead person's arm. And then, of course, the carnage starts with who they think is Ted. I'm not going to tell you if it's Ted or if it's not Ted, because I don't want to give it away in case you guys and gals want to, seek this one out and watch it. So they think it's Ted, and Ted's come back to, get his revenge on them all for cutting his arm off. I think it was like five years ago. So, okay, movie. It's pretty decent. It's pretty bloody if that's what you're looking for on a particular day. And, I liked it okay. It wasn't the best I've ever seen, but it definitely wasn't the worst I've ever seen. Now, we're going to get to a bad one here in a second, folks. So you can probably imagine how I feel about the single girls. So to give a rating to the severed arm, I'm going to go ahead and give it 4 deadites out of 5. I mean, it was pretty decent. And even though I know who the killer is or remembered who the killer was now, I think the rewatchability is there. If there wasn't rewatchability, I don't think Steve would have got it on Blu-ray. So anyway, that is the severed arm. And the next one, of course, I don't have a physical copy of, but check out that poster, folks. Like, this makes it look like, it really makes it look like it's going to be a sex fest, folks. This has Claudia Jennings in it. Claudia Jennings was very big in the 70s. It says searching for a man was a way of life. If they couldn't get him easy, they got him hard. The single girls, half clad, all bad. It sounds like a sex fest, right? And there was some messing around in this, but I think this is rated R, but the only 2 versions I could find on YouTube to watch, and I would highly recommend you try to find it somewhere else if you want to watch it in all its glory. It may have been gorier if I could have watched the unedited version, but unfortunately, the version I had to watch, I mean, I didn't care about the nudity or anything, but every time it showed the woman's ass or her boobs or something like that, it had it pixelated. And every time there was a kill in it, it would cut away at the last second or something like that, or go to fade to black or whatever. So, I mean, if I could have watched it unedited, it might have been a little bit better. And if I can find an unedited version, Steve said he may have it somewhere. I will get back with you guys and gals on the unedited version. However, whoo boy, I did not like this film. This was done by Beverly and Ferd Sebastian, who also did Rocktober Blood, which I enjoy. Rocktober Blood. Is Rocktober Blood the best movie ever made? Well, no, not really. But it still is more fun to me than The Single Girls, aka Bloody Friday is the other title for this. So we have 3 kills that I could see in here. So we get a woman shot in the stomach with an arrow. not very bloody. She's got a little bit of blood running out of her mouth. A woman attacked with a garden tool, and we don't really see, anything happen. And a woman stabbed to death. There may have been another kill in it, but it went to freeze frame and then went to two people walking on the beach. So I'm like, I don't know. And it was only about an hour and 9 minutes on YouTube. Now, again, if you watch the rated R version, maybe it's longer. And like I said, if I can find the unedited version, I'll be glad to kind of revise my review of it if it's any better. But oh, this was painful to watch, folks. Very painful to watch. Bad acting all around. Claudia Jennings was probably the best actress in this, to be honest. And it concerns one of those 70s encounter groups. And I was like, what in the world? It was almost like a cult thing because they went to this encounter group and this guy was telling them to touch each other and rub around on each other. And then, the lights were turned off and they were supposed to be feeling of each other and enjoying each other and stuff. And some of the people were couples before they came to this encounter group. And some of these people were messing around with strangers, and I was like, yeah, well, this ain't my cup of tea. But while the lights are off, I think one of the girls, she must be a model, gets slashed in the stomach or something, and she screams. She doesn't die, but when they turn on the lights, the head of this encounter group's like, we need to find out who did this, So you have these just long drawn out scenes of people walking on the beach, and the film print that I was watching wasn't very good. It was cut off on the sides, and it was just god awful. I sincerely hope if there is a DVD or anything like that it looks better than what I was watching. And again, if you're a guy and you were wanting to see some nudity, you ain't going to find it on the versions on YouTube. I'm here to tell you that. So if you want to see some TNA, you ain't going to see it on that version. So, which probably would have made it a lot better for guys. So I mean, I wasn't really interested in it, but it was annoying to see this pixelated stuff over their chest and on their behinds and all that. So not a very good slasher movie, in my opinion, or horror movie. And this version, not even a good sex fest movie, which if you were just looking at the poster, you might say, wow, if you were a guy, you might say, wow, I want to see that. So, I, I won't go to a 1, but I'll give it 2 deadites out of 5. And like I said, if I can watch the full version without it being edited, I will certainly do that. But that's where my rating stands right now. So anyway, I guess I won't keep anybody here any longer. I will tell you that next week I will be covering Torso, which is not one of my favorite horror films anyway, or Giallos or whatever, directed by Sergio Martino, and Wicked Wicked, directed by Richard Bayer. And those are both from 1973 as well. So stay tuned for that next Thursday, hopefully starting about 9 p.m. Eastern time. I may change it back to 8 o'clock if I don't start getting people at 9. I changed this for a few people that said that they would better be able to come into these streams at 9 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock. And that hasn't panned out too well. So I may be switching it back to 8 o'clock Eastern time. Okay. Just to let you know and see if that, brings a few more people in. But I want to thank those of you that were in here watching for whatever length of time you watched it. And I appreciate it. And I also want to thank those of you that will watch this on the replay, because They're All Messed Up seems to be sort of popular at times, depending on which movies that I'm covering that night or on a particular night. But as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Get out there, blast some Aussie, and try your best to live the Aussie way. And what do I mean by that? Don't stay stuck in the past, folks. Live in the present, move forward into the future, and never, ever give up on your dreams. I love each and every one of you out there, and I'll see everybody next time.